it was Lisa Simpson who said it best, which said adding a new character is often a desperate attempt to boost low ratings. And yeah, she nailed it right there. Come to think of it, why doesn't it ever get talked about how The Simpsons predicted multiple shows introducing new characters in a pathetic attempt? I know this wasn't the first time, but considering that the world has existed for a while now, here are cartoon characters that were so hated that they were erased from existence. Number 1, Sparky. Parents was already struggling and had already added a new character, Proof, so Sparky just made it seem like the show was on its last legs. They thought he was annoying, basically just another version of Cosmo, but somehow worse. But believe it or not, it lasted one more series, adding one more character. I guess we might as well throw Chloe in here, but she kinda, at least, like, was in the last episode of the show technically, so she wasn't necessarily erased from history, because this is where things get weird. After appearing in a lot in basically the entirety of season 9, starting with season 10, when Chloe makes her debut, Sparky is nowhere to be seen. I don't even think he's referenced or even brought up once. Butch Hartman himself stated that he thought Sparky was gonna be a hit with fans, which is, no offense Butch, but delusion.
Stop it! Warren, Melvin, Gary, Dot, Gordy!
And that he only got to use him for a little bit. It's obvious that Chloe was meant to be Sparky's replacement, and because of the backlash that Sparky received, Butch probably just thought it was easier to just hand them off. But believe it or not, in my opinion, Sparky's pretty tame in comparison to some of the other replacement dogs, like Vinny from Family Guy, you know, iconic, you see it everywhere on YouTube. Back in the day, it was still relatively respected, and with the clickbait essentially episode like Life of Brian, we got to see that firsthand when Seth MacFarlane killed off one of the best characters of Family Guy, only to bring him back 5 episodes later. Everyone remember that shit? All the fake tears? Seth MacFarlane was obviously tired of Family Guy and desperately wanted this series to end, so in a, I guess, desperate attempt to do so, he killed off one of the most beloved and favorite characters on the series, Brian Griffin, who's really just Seth MacFarlane himself using his own natural boring voice. And a lot of people do believe, myself included, that this was a metaphor for Seth MacFarlane just essentially begging the viewers to stop watching Family Guy. Because he really did think by killing off one of the best characters in the show, it would piss off enough people that it would make them stop watching the show. But boy was he wrong, and 10 years later, now that it's 2024, Brian is still with us. I don't know if Vinny was ever mentioned or referenced. He probably was, but Vinny was only in like 3 episodes. But it is surprising to think it ever happened. And it is a little strange seeing Stewie hug Vinny, because we've seen how he reacts towards, I guess, his other replacements. I know they kind of play that into the story, but I don't know, it's just so awkward, you know? But hey, I mean, at the very least, Seth MacFarlane went all out. He even got from The Sopranos to voice Vinny, you know, the traditional gangster Italian mafia. Like, that's dedication. Vinny honestly wasn't even that bad of a character, but replacing one of the main characters, yeah, not the best way to do it. The last dog that I at least know of, Scrappy-Doo, I guess is one of the first new characters to be added. The show like Scooby-Doo, back in the day, they were known for being repetitive as hell. So they introduced Scooby-Doo's nephew, Scrappy-Doo, who was only in like 1 iteration of the show, and never be seen again. Hell, they referenced how and annoying he was in the 2011 Scooby-Doo. Theme song was dope as
Wow, I haven't seen...
Look away, Daphne. We all promised each other that we would never speak of him. Not ever.
You know, Scrappy-Doo was annoying, bro. There's not really much else to say. He's just annoying. He's no fun.